folks. It's Friday night, one of our favourite nights of the week. And guess who's just walking into the studio? You know, David, you've got the best theme in the world.
I tell you what, I've had it for a long time, and doing Midnight to Dawn, that's how the Man Hours came about, with that theme. And that's Michael Jackson. And I believe Paul McCartney wrote it. I'll have to go back through the history.
I think they're both singing the song. They're both on the same recording.
Yeah,
session.
and it's actually interesting, all the words. We can't play the whole song, but if anybody Googles it on their computer and they have a listen, there's that's some really good words. How are you, Phil?
I'm great. I used to love those midnight shows. You'd cross to the casino at Launceston, you'd go right around Australia between midnight and dawn.
Well, from 1973, when Rest Point opened, Jeff Young was the manager down there, and when you're doing mid-dawn, we created the whip around and thought, well, who do you talk to? Obviously the listeners, but because of the time zones, we could cross to Rest Point Hotel Casino, Launceston Country Club, Alice Springs, and then we go to the Don, or was known as Diamond Beach in Darwin, and then the Perth International.
That's terrific.
So in one night, I think one night we had Al Martino, Max Bygraves, Peter Allen and the Stylistics on.
How good is that? I think you were the first to do a whip around, long before Stan Zemanek or Darren Hench or anyone else.
Yeah, it was certainly the whip around to the federal hotels, and then they even extended it, because here's a trivia question for you, Phil. What was the name of the Federal Hotel in Collins Street? 266 Collins Street.
Oh, now I'm trying to think, because I think my friend Sir Achilles ran the Federal Hotels. Was it called the Savoy Plaza?
It was the Hotel Australia.
Oh, you're kidding, it's still there.
The Hotel Australia, I think it's called Novotel now, but the Hotel Australia, 266 Collins Street, became a federal hotel property. And when they demolished it, they actually changed it around. And John Haddad, who was the managing director of Federal Hotels, he said, David, you collect memorabilia. If you'd like something, come on down and take whatever you choose. Wow. I thought, oh, that's a big offer. So, you know, you sort of didn't want a lampshade or a doona or something. And in the office, forever, from the very first day it opened, was a beautiful wooden plaque with a copper edge, and it had the cards that were accepted. So in those days, it was bank card. Yeah. Remember bank cards?
Yeah, of course.
And it had all the cards that said, these are accepted at the Hotel Australia with pleasure.
Okay.
And it had all the cards. So I kept those.
Oh, good.
And I was also the casino king of Collins Street. One night they had a very legal, it was all pretend money, but we were playing blackjack, and I became, each radio station had an on-air personality there playing, and I was representing AW, and I became the casino king.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, I was very proud.
More to you than meets the eye.
Never played blackjack since.
I used to love the old Hotel Australia facade there, walking in. That's all been, as you say, renovated now.
Oh, those marble steps, Phil. As you went up, there were beautiful marble steps all the way up to the foyer, and then they led into the massive ballroom. But the funniest thing ever, we had a cup day at the Hotel Australia, and the then general manager said, do something different, David. Do something different. So I went and hired a gentleman and his horse to come into the ballroom.
Oh, really?
A real horse.
That's different.
And I said, as all the guests are sitting there during the cup and the broadcast, we'll simply walk the horse through. Was
it a well-known horse?
No, it was a horse for a property. I think the property was up near Macclesfield or somewhere. There were two things we hadn't thought about, or I hadn't thought about. Number one, getting the horse in. Well, I thought just walk up the steps, but when you have a horse with horseshoes on marble steps, not a good look. And then getting the horse down. Horses are very confident, but coming down, and there was this.
There wasn't a ramp there it could do.
No, there was no lift, no nothing. But the funniest line of the whole promotion was, as we brought the horse off the trailer in Collins Street, there was this gentleman who, let's just say, was sort of just sitting there with his little bottle of sherry in the brown paper bag, and he was sitting on the steps, and he was having a nice cup day that wasn't too busy in town, and he looked up, and all of a sudden he saw a horse beside him going up the steps, and I saw him. He was still there as the horse came down the steps.
Thought he'd had one too many.
And at the end he went, I don't think I'm having a very good day.
You know, our friend, she hasn't called in for a while, Elizabeth of Hungary. She was a hostess at the Australia Hotel for many years. Our lovely friend from Budapest, yes.
So one of the waiters, or
No, but she worked there as a hostess, so maybe entertaining people and, you know, sort of thing that Fiona Byrne's doing today at the Sofitel. Maybe
like public relations.
Yeah, I think maybe. We haven't heard from her in ages.
And your guest who was on a couple of weeks ago, Bobby Johnson, Bobby booked all the entertainment.
He did. For Federal Hotels, we talked about that. Hey, listen, you'll never guess who I saw today.
Oh, doctor, I'm in trouble.
Well, goodness gracious me.
For every time a certain man is standing next to me, a flash comes to my face and my pulse begins to race. It goes boom, boody, boom, boody, boom, boody, boom, boody, boom, boody, boom, boody, boom, 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 boody, boom, boody, boom, boody, boom.
Well, goodness gracious me.
Yes, well, goodness gracious me, I went to see Bruce.
Oh, and I've been waiting on the update because we've placed some regular calls, but I know that he had to move to the hospital. Now, the big news.
Oh, really? I wasn't going to say that, but that's all right. Yes, he is recuperating in hospital at the moment. Jill was there, munching on a meat pie. It was such a cold day and I was famished. I thought, oh, Jill, offer me a piece of pie, but she didn't. She's chewing this 4 and 20 and just having the time of her life, and my tummy's rumbling. But when I walked into the room, and Bruce has his own private room, he was fast asleep. I thought, my God, he's died.
Oh, don't say that.
No, but I thought, then I
clapped your hands and he woke up.
I shook him, and he was so surprised to see me. And I have to tell you, I thought he was looking terrific.
Good.
I have to tell you, we had about half an hour together and a lot of laughs, as we would on air.
Yes.
You know, it's just like we're doing a radio show together. And I went away from the hospital very uplifted by the experience, because I thought, gee, you're putting on some weight and you're looking okay.
That's good news.
Yeah.
That's good news, because, look, we're not hiding any facts. Bruce said himself he'd lost some weight, but putting on weight, did he have a good colour about him?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I thought very healthy. And we didn't discuss his health, because he's a very private person, as you know, and we didn't discuss his future, which obviously is his business when the time comes. But it did me the world of good. You know, when you go to visit someone in hospital, you go to try and cheer them up. Well, he really cheered me up. It made me feel really wonderful to be with him for a while.
Did he have that very, how can I say it, it's only Bruce can do it, that sense of humour?
Yeah, I told you, the atmosphere was crackling.
Very dry.
We had Jill laughing too, and she's a tough audience. So there you are, folks. I'm reporting back to you. I've seen Bruce, and he sends his love to all of you, and he misses you all dearly.
Did you get him to sign a few fan cards?
That would have exhausted him. He would have had a relapse.
Now, Phil, you always take a present. Whenever you go and visit anyone,
oh, yeah.
You always take a present.
Yeah.
What did you take, Bruce?
I bought another book today, because I think you get a bit bored when you're in bed all the time. And it was the Molly Meldrum story, the never-ending story of Molly Meldrum by Jeff Jenkins.
Bruce would love that.
Yeah, I think he will.
Because so many of the interactions Molly had over the years, Bruce knew a lot of those people. So.
Of course, he might even be in the book. And he's a good mate of Molly's. And so I passed along to Bruce all your gifts and cards and messages. Even Lionel York rang from Perth the other day, concerned for Bruce. And so the people from all over Australia, you know, are very worried about Bruce and are plugging for him.
Well,
you know?
That's a great update, Phil, because we have not only the listeners, and Bruce, if you're listening, the calls keep coming through, how are you? But also on a day-to-day, away from the microphone, people ask, so that's great. That's really good.
So I'm very happy to share that with you tonight, of all people.
And to all the people who've been involved in helping Bruce, all the medicos. So many people talk about the doctors. They're obviously fantastic, and the nursing staff, but I also talk about the support staff. I went to see a friend of mine at Freemasons, Epworth, during the week, and as I walked to the nurses' station, I thanked them, but then the receptionist and the lady on the front desk, I said, you do a great job. And she looked, she said, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I said, well, without you, we wouldn't know which room we were going to.
That's right, absolutely.
So to everybody who's looking after Bruce, And Bruce, hello.
Yes, and sleep tight, Bruce, and we'll be playing one of your poems at 10 to 12. Now, a caller off air tells us, well, this is a worry, traffic is at a standstill heading towards Tullamarine Airport. In fact, the traffic is backed up halfway back to the city because of roadworks. So if you've got a late plane to catch, I would suggest Mount Alexander Road as an alternative, David.
Yes, and go around through Essendon and then come off at Buller Road and head back in there. That's not good. I tell you what, I feel for the people in the West, particularly with the Tullamarine, not Tullamarine, with the Westgate and all these roadworks, and reading and listening to some of the reports. Normally an hour, and people could say, okay, I'm prepared to travel an hour, but 3 hours, some people are going to have to move home or quit their job.
As Tom Elliott said during the week, why, for goodness sake, when they build these tunnels and these bridges and these freeways, don't they make provision for the future and make them 2 lanes wider at the time?
Why have they made Peninsula Link just 2 lanes?
Yeah, I can't believe it, you know.
I love it.
Even that gets clogged up already.
Yes, the Eastern was ahead of its time because that's 4 and in some parts 5 lanes.
It is.
So, I don't know, but gee, that's not good. So just repeating, traffic at a standstill heading towards Melbourne Airport, Tullamarine, backed up halfway back to the city, and it is roadwork. So it's not going to clear. They're not going to move a car out. It's roadworks.
Right. Now, by the way, the only sad note today was, look at my glasses. Oro during the night decided to chew Philip's glasses, and there isn't much of them left.
So last week it was pens and remote controls of the telly.
And desk clocks and calendars and books and DVDs. And I've tried to straighten these glasses. I've tried to put them back into shape, but I think I need new frames, don't you?
Give us a look at the... it's not good radio for anybody watching on the... it doesn't open up.
No, not too well.
And he's actually taken the bit that goes around your ear that is the nice...
the flange.
The flange. He's eaten that.
Yeah.
He's bent the left arm of the glasses and...
imagine I had to address a mother's club or something and had those glasses on. They'd be roaring with laughter. They'd think I was Groucho Marx.
Phil, I think you'll be heading to Specsavers.
Very soon,
sorry,
Dave.
I dropped them. Won't make any difference.
Thanks. Dropped them.
They're wrecked.
And he cracked them.
23 minutes past 10, Nightline, Philip Brady and David Mann on a Friday evening. And hello to Jack at Pakenham.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
Yeah, g'day, Jack.
Well, thanks, Jack.
Mate, I'd love to have a chat to you guys tonight about this coming Good Friday. Steamrail, once again, are running their Royal Children's Hospital Good Friday sports train.
Oh, please tell us more.
Mate, last year we ran the train and made a total of $16,500. It was a great tribute for us to the children.
That's good.
This year, once again, we're doing exactly the same thing, but we are pulling out all stops this year. We are pulling out the original Railway Commissioner's Heritage Steamloco.
Oh, wow. Tell us about that.
Mate, it's the D3, built 1903 at the Newport Workshops. It was the last steam locomotive to ever pull the Railway Commissioner's train. It was the locomotive that actually started the heritage movement. It was about to be scrapped, and people felt that it was so significant, they formed a movement to petition the government to save it. The locomotive was saved, and then the Railway Museum was then formed out of and after that.
And Jack, where will the train run from where to where, and how do people make a booking to donate to the wonderful Royal Children's Hospital Good Friday appeal?
Righto. The train will run from 9:50 in the morning, leaving Flinders Street. We're keeping it'll run out onto 2 separate lines. We're keeping the lines under wraps as a surprise for people.
Mm-hmm.
That will be the first trip in the morning. It then runs an afternoon trip, 2 p.m. Also from Flinders Street out onto 2 other separate, completely separate lines from what it ran on the morning.
Okay, so we could just arrive at Flinders Street prior to 9:50. Is that right?
That's right. Bookings will be essential. If people ring Steamrail Victoria on 9397, 1953. That's 9397 1953. They can jump on our website, Steam Rail Victoria, click on tours. They can download a brochure and or book, or they can send an email to booking@steamrail.com.au.
That's great, Jack. Well, I hope it goes really well. That number again is 9397 1953, Steam Rail Victoria. And I tell you what, I know you, Phil, you love the trains.
Good.
And that would be a lot of fun. So a couple of secret destinations from Flinders Street on Good Friday.
All right. And you always, you know, on my way down to the telethon, always hear the whistle of the steam train over at Southern Cross in the lunch hour, you know.
I love Puffing Billy.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Actually, Puffing Billy has their, they had a chat to me during the week. They've got the 35th Great Train Race. Entries are still open, and it's Sunday, May the 1st, 9:30 Sunday morning in Belgrave. It's 13.5 k's. You've got to be good. Runs up to Emerald Lake Park.
Someone always beats the train every year.
Oh, lots of people. Lots of people. Entries are $80, and you can register at the website puffingbilly.com.au.
Okay.
The first winner back in 1982, his name was Steve Austin.
Oh, really? Oh, the $6 million man.
Same
How good is that?
name, not that, but he was an Australian middle distance champion in the late 70s and 80s. Steve Austin, and he won the race. So the good news is, we'll see, we're talking about trains. Puffing Billy Museum, located at the Menzies Creek Station. That's where all the proceeds go. So $80, puffingbilly.com.au, and I think there's still, I don't know, not too many, because they have to have a cut-off for it, but it's Sunday, May the 1st.
Okay, now see how good your memory is. Years and years ago, we all went to a preview of Steven Spielberg's movie Duel, which originally in America was a made-for-TV movie, but released for the cinema here. And it was Steven Spielberg's first effort. And the hero of the movie, his name was David Mann. And when his name was mentioned, all of us in the theatre, in the media, we all cheered. You remember that? Have you seen the movie?
He's you don't ever see him. He's the truck driver, isn't he?
Exactly. Yeah.
David Mann, I actually do remember
And
the film.
everyone in the film was, hey!
And then you never see him throughout the whole film. Jewel. I think you can probably still get it on DVD.
Yeah, great movie. Hey, Jenny's at Tullamarine. Hello, Jenny.
Hi, my sweetheart.
G'day.
Bruce is listening. I want him to get better. I need to talk to him.
We all do, and it was great news that Phil gave us, Jenny. I don't know whether you were tuned in earlier, but Bruce is doing really well.
Oh, I'm so happy. No, I wasn't. Phil, guess what? My grandkids are coming tomorrow.
Oh, how exciting for you, Jenny.
Oh, I'm sorry. I cannot... She rang when I say she, I shouldn't be rude. My granddaughter said... Not my granddaughter. I'm so excited, Mum.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah. She said, Mum, will be able to come and visit you. Of course.
How old is she, Jenny?
Who, sorry?
Your granddaughter.
No, it wasn't her that rang up, but my granddaughter's 16.
Yeah.
And it was just... Oh, Phil knows the story. I just cannot believe I'm in awe.
You make sure to take some selfies tomorrow, won't you?
Yeah, well, I said to her, because I'm frightened of shopping, Phil, as you know.
Yeah.
And I said, I've got nothing. Don't worry, Mum. I will do your shopping for you. But to see them, and little Chelsea Jade rang me up and she said, Nanny, you still love us? Of course I love them. Been nearly 5 months, Phil.
Well, you ring us next week and tell us how the reunion went, Jenny, won't you?
I will, darling. And you look after yourself, and Bruce, we love him.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing the good news. You won't sleep tonight, will you?
No, I don't think I will.
Listen to Alan Pearsall instead. Good luck, Jenny.
Love you, mate.
Isn't it nice to hear somebody happy like that?
Yes,
now,
it is.
And we've also got to thank, talking of Alan Pearsall after midnight, but Tony Moclair, John Araglasso, and Pete, I call him Peter. It's Grubby and DD.
Yeah.
But Peter Stubbs, and Peter was the special guest, so well done to Peter and to John and to Tony. And Tony has worked about 700 hours in the last 3 weeks.
Every time I tune in, Tony Mockbella's on the air.
Don't say that.
It's just amazing.
Phil, don't say that. It's our own Tony Moclair. Moclair.
Now you tell me. while you're down there, check out the art gallery and the museum and, you know, Corio Bay.
Eastern Beach.
Yeah, and you make your way to Bell's Beach and down the Great Ocean Road. It's wonderful.
Dennis has the most amazing carols by the bay at Eastern Beach. I think about 15,000 people. And whenever we've been there, it is just so lovely. You drive along that esplanade, and I had the pleasure of interviewing Frank Costa for a function down there.
Yeah.
And we stayed for a little while, and Annie went for a run early in the morning and just loved it. Everyone said, hello, how you going? Having a nice time? She said, yes. All along the foreshore there, thinking this is quite safe. And the people were just very hospitable, and it is beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think it's $1 million for a block of land on the esplanade
My
there.
parents almost retired to Geelong, but for some reason didn't. But I could be living down there today myself.
Do you know where a lot of people are retiring to at the moment?
In Victoria?
No, just off Victoria.
Perhaps heading towards South Australia?
Tasmania.
Oh, right.
A lot of people...
It's probably still cheap down there?
Reasonable, and a lot of people love it. They experience Tassie, and then they say, right, that's where we're going to retire to.
Okay, yeah, I love it too. Now, your calls are more than welcome. What are your plans for the weekend with the Grand Prix? Will this be the first year when Ron Walker hasn't been the chairman?
Yes, because it's John Harnden is the chairman now, but Ron's very, very good with succession planning, because John Harnden was the event manager the very first year when Ron was the chairman, Judith Griggs was the chief executive, and John Harnden was the event manager, and then he progressed from that. He ran the Commonwealth Games, he ran the international cricket, and now he's back as chairman with Ron's blessing, and doing a great job.
I would say Ron Walker is one of the most lovable Melburnians ever. And I bracket him with people like Frank Beaurepaire, former Lord Mayor of Melbourne.
Yes.
John Sow, who everybody adored.
Fabulous.
But you'd have to include Ron Walker there too. He's just so popular and so well liked.
He's got a big weekend, because I'm sure he'll be trackside at some stage, but he's very good in saying, John, you're running it. Andrew Westacott is the chief executive in the team. But this weekend is also the 10th anniversary of the Commonwealth Games.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm aware of that. And I was thinking of John So because he got such a big cheer of the opening ceremony, didn't he?
I think he got a bigger cheer than Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth.
He did.
Certainly than any of the premiers of the day, or the governors or the governor-generals of the day.
And also we've got the garden show on this weekend at the exhibition buildings.
Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show, and tomorrow morning and Sunday morning, Jane Edmondson will broadcast live from there. And, of course, lots and lots of... It's fabulous. Have you been up there, Phil, to the exhibition
Not
building?
this time around, but in past years, I used to take Shirley Morgan there.
Unbelievable. To Greg Hooton and the team, it is just magnificent.
It's world class.
And I think the rain today will help a little bit and sort of keep everything nice and fresh. Actually, about gardens too, Cottage by the Sea, the Bellarine branch, so we're talking about the Bellarine Peninsula here, they have an open garden day this Sunday, which is the 20th of March, 10 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. And Red Gums is a beautiful property, 30 Drakes Road in Drysdale. North Leach, another property at 35 Oakton Road in Drysdale. Brambledale Farm, lovely names, 2115 Port Arlington Road, Drysdale. It's all happening at Drysdale. And Burke Farm, 2235 Port Arlington Road, Bellarine. And the final one in the mix is Kilmurray, 405 Scotchman's Road. Love that name, Bellarine. And what they have, Phil, they have the Devonshire tea, they have the garden stalls. That's all at Kilmurray. And it's $20, not per garden, but that's a $20 ticket which gets you into all the gardens. Or if you just want to go to one, it's $5 per garden. And they have a couple of presentations. And this is tomorrow, the two presentations on Saturday, the Ikebana demonstration. Do you know what Ikebana is?
Yeah, it's Japanese, isn't it?
It is. Japanese. It ceases to amaze me all things you know. Japanese Floristry by Christopher James at North Leach at 11 o'clock in the morning, and David Glenn at Brambledale Farm at 2 p.m. He's from Lambley Nursery. But the big one is Sunday, 10 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. and all the details, cottagebythesea.com.au.
And also, I think this is the weekend Rob Gilbert has his special show at St Joseph's Primary School in Hawthorn, where they take a shuttle bus around to various gardens in the area.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Our
it's
own
this
Rob
weekend.
Gilbert.
Yeah.
And he's a very successful host of Oh, gee, the name of the show, it's all about soccer.
Of
and
course.
it's on NTS. And there's a soccer terminology that they use, which has just escaped me at the moment.
Something to do with a sin bin or a red card?
No, it's like pocket to pocket.
Hey, Rob, call in if you want to promote what's happening in Hawthorn. Joe in Hoppers Crossing. David?
Hello, Joe.
Hello, David. Hi, Phil.
G'day, Joe.
I rung up. My dogs call you Uncle Philip Brady.
Oh, okay.
What sort of dogs have you got, Joe?
I've got a little Pomeranian cross named Max
Yeah.
and a little shih tzu something else named Betty.
Something else. Is Max, we had a cat called Max, he was very smart. Any name Max is always smart. Is the dog smart?
Well, he's very... I've only had them since August because my 14-year-old dogs passed away just prior to Christmas that year. But these two, I came home the other day and I think they've bet Oro. I came home and the toilet paper had been dragged out
You could just
and wrapped around the kitchen chairs.
Yeah.
And all around the place, and had an absolute party.
Oh,
and
right.
I said to them, "Okay, you two, get over here. Who did this?"
Of course.
And did they move in your direction and sit and pay
Came
attention?
and sat and looked at me, and I pointed to the mess, and I said, "Who did this?" And they both bowed their heads.
Well, I can tell you a similar story. Today, Oro made his way to my desk, and I've got a roll of address stickers. You know what they look like.
Yeah.
And there's a roll of 500 of them, and Oro decided to unravel the whole roll today. But because they've got a sticky surface, half the labels are sticking to his ear and his nose and his forehead and his leg. He's walking around with all these Philip Brady stickers on him.
And Phil's sitting here, Joe, without his glasses on because they've been eaten and crumpled up and they don't open. He can't put them on his head.
And you know, glasses frames are very expensive. They're more so than the lens. You know?
And he has no respect for them.
No, you know, Joe, I am only the housekeeper.
Oh, you're their daddy. How's Alice going?
Alice is good. She keeps him in line, and they're playing all the time and wrestling around on the floor and doing somersaults, and they are the joy of my life,
Oh,
Joe.
you know, me too, Phil. And every time something's going crazy on here, I think I must ring up and tell Uncle Philip Brady.
Yeah, well, you ring in any time, Joe, and we'll swap stories.
15 minutes to 11, 15 minutes away from the latest Macquarie National News. Nightline, Philip Brady and David Mann. And from the Herald Sun News Desk, Michelle Ainsworth. Good evening and welcome, Michelle. What's happening in the paper tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have Sean Price, and we have a message from Marsha Vukatik's family asking that eventually in 2053, when he does come up for parole, that they ensure that he is never let out, even in the long run.
Well done to Neil Mitchell and the 3RW News team too today, because that was covered extensively as the judge was handing down the sentence. It was live to air, so there'll be big coverage of that. And what else, Michelle?
We have some research from RMIT University that suggests more of Melbourne's laneways should be named after our musicians. So Molly Meldrum has suggested that Graham Shirley Strawn from the Skyhooks should be at the top of the list.
Oh, good one. Yes, why not? Yeah.
Because we've got AC/DC laneway, haven't we?
Yes, and we've also got one named after Chrissy Amphlett and Crowded House drummer Paul Hester.
Yes, of course, yes.
Oh, I think that's great. People love our laneways and they love all the murals in them too, Phil.
Yeah, I can't wait to go up Durham Drive. Judith Durham, that is.
And the last one we have here is an interesting one from Alita newspapers, that a tribunal has been forced to name a child after its parents were unable to agree on the baby's surname for more than a year.
Oh.
So a bit of a dispute there, but a little child has finally got a name.
Yeah, and also tomorrow you'll have your racing guide, you'll have the Home magazine, you'll have real estate, and the Weekend magazine as well.
Yes, we will.
Okay, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Michelle Ainsworth at the Herald Sun.
I want to hear from people who've been to Matilda already. Started with the Princess, as you know, only last night, I think.
And I was there.
And I'd love to get a reaction from people. It's won so many awards overseas, this show.
It's a big, big show, and I heard Heidi Victoria, the Honourable Heidi Victoria, one of our parliamentarians, ring in to Nightline, and she loved it. She's seen it twice. She saw it in Sydney and then here, and the little girl who plays Matilda, well, I'm sure there's 3 or 4 of them. Unbelievable.
Is it a bit like Annie, the musical Annie?
In parts, it's sort of a different theme.
Okay.
There's a lot of acting. Oh, I mean, there's a lot of singing too. But the set is quite amazing. But the little trick is after intermission. Come back early because they come out on stage and just start doing something while you're sitting down and you're eating your choc top and your ice cream, and it's very different. And a lot of the cast actually walk off the stage during the show and walk back into the audience. So instead of exiting right or left of stage, they come off the stage and they're actually running past people in the stalls. You think, and so much of it is precision timing. We won't give away so many highlights, but it's a big show.
Now, did you and Andy David go to the party afterwards at the Melbourne Town Hall?
No, in fact, I was a big day today, and then tonight, and then we've got a big weekend.
I heard you were at Chemist Warehouse 14 hours ago.
Yes, it keeps me moving. So, no, I believe that went very well at the Melbourne Town Hall. And I love the Town Hall. Anything that happens at the Town Hall. My 2 favourite spots for functions, Sofitel Melbourne on Collins.
Yes.
And when Clive Scott throws a party, he throws a party. And when the Lord Mayor throws a party in the Town Hall, it's very good.
I agree. I love the Town Hall. Who'd you spot last night among the celebrities?
Oh, gee, there were lots and lots of people. I'm just trying to think. There was Eddie Perfect was there.
Yeah, we spoke to him.
From Australia's Got Talent. I was looking at so many of the people. I was more intrigued with the show than the VIPs. I didn't do the red carpet because I was actually running a little bit late.
Okay.
But I did do the red carpet at something else during the week. Lawbeck's. Have you ever heard of the name Lawbeck?
No, tell me.
Lawbeck's is a luxury car dealership, and they have built a 2-acre showroom in Port Melbourne. So as you're coming across the bridge, plenty of time to look for the name Lawbeck now because you'll be stuck in the traffic.
Yeah.
But as you're coming into Melbourne, on the right-hand side is this huge sign, Lawbeck, and Shrecko and Chantel hosted a function to open it. Now, Alan Jones, world champion, was there. There was anybody who was anybody.
Was my mate Alan Moffat there?
Didn't see Alan. But Andrew Westacott, the head of the Grand Prix Corporation, 2 acres of cars. And
right.
I'm not really, I don't understand what's under the bonnet, but I like cars. But I tell you what, I would love to have one day a Bentley.
And this is in Port Melbourne.
Port Melbourne
Lawbeck's.
is called Lawbeck's, and they had the big launch the other night, and they got every single person there to sign a wall, and they had an entertainer who I hadn't seen until that night, Hayley Teal, who was a performer who was fantastic, and the other discovery, and it's an unusual thing to say about the opening of a luxury car showroom, Rauch fruit juices. Because I don't drink when I'm driving ever, and they had these fruit juices. There was orange and mango. They come from overseas, and they're Rauch. I think it's Rauch. Absolutely magnificent.
Okay, non-alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic, and little bottles, and they're imported, and everything was top class there. So well done to Shrecko Lawbeck and Dr. Chantel Thornton, who is Shrecko's partner. She's a very, very clever breast cancer surgeon at Peter Mac, and she emceed the night.
When do you ever sleep?
Normally Sunday afternoon between 3 and 6 p.m.
Okay, not Fridays between 10 and midnight. And we have a minute to talk to you, Sahara in New South Wales. Hello.
Hi, how you been?
Yes, we don't have a lot of time, so please talk.
I was just going to say that we painted some painting before, and then I painted John English.
Oh, you've done that. That's nice.
Tribute to the late John English.
Colour.
Yeah. And is that on the internet already?
You know, as I do a hobby, rising an artist, just as a hobby painting.
Yes. Now, can we see John English on the internet?
Yeah, on the Blue Thumb.
Okay, give us the website again.
Oz Diffidence, and go on Blue Thumb. It's a little site.
Yes.
And Oz Diffidence, and you'll see John English in colour. Do you remember that kind of hairstyle he had?
Of course.
And it was sort of cropped on the top.
Yeah.
Well, I painted it like that, you know, and some people say it looks a lot like him, you know.
Yeah, you're very clever.
I thought you might like to look, because I do it for talent. It's a good, healthy pastime, you know.
No, you're very creative, Zahara. And she sings too. I don't know if you've been here when she entertains us, but it's not unusual for Zahara to burst into song.
I have, Phil, and she's very good, and it's nice to know people like that who can paint and sing, a very arty type of person.
Yes, a nice tribute to John English already. He's only been gone about a week. She's already painted his portraits.
Hello again. This is John Doremus with the Passing Parade, the story of a battle that changed the face of history. June 15, 1389, has been described by historians as the blackest day in the history of Christendom. On that day, the Turks and the Serbians clashed in the decisive Battle of Kosovo, following which the Iron Curtain of the Turks descended over the Balkans, there to remain for more than 4 centuries. I'll be back to tell you more after this message. Murad I, the Sultan who first established Turkish domination over parts of Christian Europe, was the son of Orkan, founder of the great Osman dynasty and a Greek princess. The cruel and cunning Murad was totally illiterate, but he managed to combine a love of pleasure and luxury with a knowledge of military tactics and mass psychology that amounted to genius. When he ascended the Osman throne in 1319, he had the perfect fighting machine for conquest. For years, his corsairs had swooped on the coasts of Europe to kidnap Christian boys below the age of 10. These he had indoctrinated with his most fanatical, militant form of Mohammedanism, and converted into a crack corps of 70,000 men ready and willing to die for the Prophet. They were known as the Janissaries, and with them Murad set forth to conquer the outposts of Christendom. The times were in his favor. The Roman Empire of the East was crumbling, Balkan feudal vassals had broken away, and the whole peninsula was split by warring factions and unable to withstand invasion. The Janissaries made short work of Adrianople, which Murad made his capital before stabbing deeper into the Balkans. Philopolis and Niš fell into his hands. The Bulgarians yielded Sofia, and the Serbian king agreed to pay tribute. After 2 years' absence, Murad returned to Europe to find that the Balkan princes had rallied under King Lazarus of Serbia and had massacred most of the Turkish garrisons north of Adrianople. Murad's progress from there was one long atrocity. As the Janissaries advanced in a campaign of reconquest, they destroyed everything in their path. The stage was set for the final act when the armies of Murad and Lazarus came face to face at Kosovo, the plain of the Blackbirds. On the eve of the battle, all was quiet in the Turkish camp, but the Christian host was torn with dissension. In a desperate bid to even the odds, a Christian leader named Kobilic went to the Turks. The stage was set for the final act when the armies of Murad and Lazarus came face to face at Kosovo, the plain of the Blackbirds. On the eve of the battle, all was quiet in the Turkish camp, but the Christian host was torn with dissension. In a desperate bid to even the odds, a Christian leader named Kobilic went to the Turkish camp, told the guards he had come to reveal his allies' plans to the Sultan, and bowing deeply before Murad, drew a knife from his sleeve and plunged it into the other's stomach. Though mortally wounded, Murad vowed he would not die till he had seen his troops victorious. He passed command to his favorite son, Bijazet, then ordered his surgeons to stitch and bandage him and carry him to a small hill overlooking the plain. From there, he watched the Janissaries annihilate their foe, and lived long enough to see King Lazarus beheaded before succumbing to death. 22,000 lives were lost in the Battle of Kosovo on June 15, 1389. Thereafter, June 15th was a day of mourning in Serbia. Our time is up till we meet again for another chapter in the Passing Parade. This is John Doremus. As always, thank you so much, and goodbye for now.
For Ian Reid's vendor advocacy, can you hear me? For Ian Reid, here's Chris Godfrey of the Bureau. Hi, Chris.
How are you?
Oh, good. Well, that rain was welcome, wasn't it?
It was an absolute delight to listen to it while in bed this morning, but then once you actually had to go out and head off to work or drop off the kids at school, it was maybe a little bit less so.
Maybe so, yes. How many meals do we have in Melbourne?
Well, in total, Melbourne City got 19 meals, which straddled that 9 a.m. cut-off. So it was partly from yesterday's rain and also two days as well. And if you look around the suburbs, maybe a bit less if you're in the west. Lebanon got 13, but the eastern suburbs really did well. Scoresby got 36, and Ferny Creek on top of Mount Dandenong got 62 millimetres.
All very welcome. And what can we expect for the weekend?
Well, it's certainly going to be a bit cooler tomorrow. 18 is the expected maximum, so certainly quite a bit cooler than we've really had for the past month. That's after a minimum of 12. But if we look at the shower activity, there is still a bit showing up on the radar, but it's mainly just blowing across the southern part of the bay, the Mornington Peninsula and the eastern suburbs, and they'll ease further into tonight, and there might just be a slight chance of them hanging around those areas during the morning, but the city itself should be largely clear, just the slight chance of a passing shower first thing in the morning, and we'll also see the winds begin to ease as well. It was certainly quite blustery during the afternoon, and we'll see those winds start to moderate as we move further into the evening, and by the time we get to late tomorrow afternoon, it really should just be a southerly breeze coming off the bay, basically.
So it should be okay for the Grand Prix Sunday?
Yes, it's looking quite good for Sunday. The forecast is for a mostly sunny day, maximum of 21 after a minimum of 12, so quite pleasant to be outdoors. And winds will just be a light to moderate east to southeasterly breeze, which will tend a bit more southerly during the afternoon.
Wonderful. Take us through the week too, please, Chris.
All right. Well, it's basically a continuation of sunny weather. Monday and Tuesday, 23 and then 25, both set to be fairly light wind days, maybe a bit more northerly on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, there might just be the slight chance of a light shower during the day as it starts to cloud up. But we're still expecting a maximum of 23, not really that much rain with any showers. So a largely dry week, and as we head towards the end of the week, 25 on Thursday, and then coming back a little, 20 on Friday.
Thanks very much, Chris. We've had the rain and a lot of wind too, and the SES, they did a great job. A lot of call-outs, over 400 call-outs for the SES. But summing up, tomorrow 12 up to 18, Sunday 12 to 21, Monday a nice day 23, Tuesday 25, Wednesday 23, Thursday 25, Friday 20, and the rain was most welcome. But just one last question, Chris. The wind factor, we won't have those 90 knot winds, hopefully?
Not tonight, no. I think it's largely blown itself out. We still do have a strong wind warning current on the bay, but the potential for damage from those winds has now completely gone. The warning area is now just going to shrink back to the far east of the state, basically.
All right, thanks so much, Chris. Happy weekend to you.
You too. Thanks a lot.
And David Mann welcomes in our country friends.
They do a great job, the Weather Bureau, and our friends from 3NE Wangaratta and our friends at Deniliquin, Denny, the Denny, what was it? The Denny Ute Muster.
Yeah, I've never been there, but we must get up there sometime.
2Q in Deniliquin, 1521, and 3NE Wangaratta, 1566. Maybe we'll do a Friday night OB somewhere.
Would that be good?
We'll ask the boss, Stephen Beer, say, Stephen, can we go on the road?
Can we take a chopper up there and come back the same night? I've got mouths to feed, all right? All right?
Oh, that's right. You've got Oro. You have to look after Oro.
Barking mouths. Listen, how long will you be at the Grand Prix over the weekend? Both days?
I'm going there tomorrow. In fact, John Harnden, who is the chairman of the Australian Grand Prix Corporation, is hosting an event, which I'll have the pleasure of being at.
Right.
And just tomorrow. Sunday's a very busy day. We have all our top clients, all our top agencies there on Sunday.
Is there a 3AW marquee as such?
We're broadcasting from the Paddock Club, so we have the Paddock Club location for all the broadcasts with Darren James and Alan Moffat and all the teams, and then we also have a couple of satellite points. Donna DeMeo doing a lot of the colour. Shane McGuinness, I think Shane's amazing. He can do every single sport.
Yeah.
He's quite amazing. So we've got the news covered, we've got sport covered, we've got the colour covered, and then, of course, all the programs.
I reckon I've said to you before, Shane McGuinness is the next Clinton Gribus, the ultimate compliment I pay him.
I think he would be very proud, and I'm sure Shane would have met Clinton. Obviously, we're speaking of the late Clinton Gribus, who was just nature's gentleman. It was said so often at his funeral, he never, ever said a bad word about anyone.
What a huge funeral that was.
Oh, it was massive, and people just love Clinton, so our thoughts are always with him, because do you know in the 3RW broadcast boxes, Rex Hunt, and I talk about boxes, whether it's Etihad Stadium or the MCG, Rex was calling at the time with Clinton, and he said, let's have a little tribute, and he and Shorey and all the boys, they put a photo of Clinton in the box, which I believe is still there today.
Right, okay.
So every time they're broadcasting, Clinton's just looking down at them.
And, of course, we have a studio here dedicated to Keith McGowan.
Keith McGowan OAM, and Keith's studio, yes, is the other studio used a lot for the national programs.
And I understand, I've heard whispers around the corridors that when I eventually retire, they're going to dedicate a toilet to me.
Oh, no.
That's what I've heard.
No, the whole of 655 Collins Street will go from Media House to Brady Mansion.
Oh, I don't think so. Hey, Pom Pom at Camberwell, hi to you.
Hi, Phil. Hi, David.
Hello, Pom Pom.
I met Clinton Gribus in an AW Comfrey box.
Oh, did you?
Phil organised that, didn't you, Phil?
Yeah, I think we did. Way back, Pom Pom.
Yeah, way back in a long time ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a bit of a sports buff, Pom Pom?
I am, David. That was an honour to meet Clinton, I tell you. Bondi took me up there and met him. And
Graham Bond, Mr. Stats.
Mr. Stats, yeah, I miss him.
And did Clinton know you as soon as you opened your mouth and said, hello, I'm Pom Pom?
Not quite. I shook hands with him and said I was glad to meet him, and which was good.
Yeah. And how's life treating you, Pom Pom?
Not bad, Phil. I'm looking forward to next Friday, as normal.
We've got a big Friday, next Friday, 6 p.m. till midnight from the World, I was going to say the World because it's a massive centre, the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre.
Yeah.
It's huge, isn't it, David?
It is huge. I've always got to get the name right too. Melbourne, it used to be the Melbourne Exhibition Centre, now it's the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition
We're
Centre.
down the Plenary Hall end. It's near South Wharf, next to the Hilton Hotel.
And the concert's on. People can buy tickets for the concert, and then people can just pop in and donate and say hello to Phil. Luke Dennehy will be there. Simon Owens, I'll be there.
Yeah, I know it's going to be huge. Will you be on the phones, Pom Pom?
Yes, Phil. I'm starting about 2:15, I think, or 3 o'clock.
Oh, you'll still be there when we come at 6.
Yeah, I'll finish at 6:30.
Oh, we'll look for you.
And I'm looking forward to it. And see if I'll try to find you, Phil. And
Well, come early because I'll be on the panel with Tom Elliott at 1 o'clock on TV. All right?
Oh, okay, Phil.
I'll be looking for you.
Oh, good, Phil. It'll be good to see you again.
Yeah.
And good evening to all the regular nightliners. And one important thing, 3AW is football.
Good for you.
I was waiting for that.
I think you miss our footy tipping, don't you, Pom Pom?
I miss my tipping, yeah.
I know. Okay, take care. Good weekend.
I'll look forward to seeing Pom Pom because I have no idea what he looks
he's a
like.
real character.
You could blindfold me and he could walk up and go, hello, it's Pom Pom.
You'll know it.
It's Pom Pom Pete, isn't it?
Yeah, because he used to wear pom-poms to our street parties at Christmas time.
Oh, in Bank Street?
Yeah, he gave us the little Christmas hats with pom-poms.
Hello to James of Mooney Ponds.
Hello, David, and hello, Phil.
Hello, James.
This is the evening of culture and travel. I always like to hear you two guys reminiscing about where you've been to and what you've been, what events and what countries and all that sort of thing.
We have a bit of fun. Every week is busy and there's always something that is on. And I remember one of the listeners many, many years ago, she said that she'd travelled with us everywhere, and we went, oh, you've been to all these places? She said, no, but I've been with you with the description. She was a visually impaired lady, and she said that she could picture the various places around the state or the country that we'd been to.
And you chaps are so mellow. It's so nice to listen to you.
Oh, thanks, James. We like talking to you too.
Now, I'm happy that you saw Bruce tonight and that he's looking good. That's
I thought
nice.
so, yes.
Yeah. I was sorry to hear about Oro chewing up your glasses, Phil.
Not as sorry as I am.
Phil,
He's been through everything. DVDs, CDs, books, desk clocks, biros. Nothing is sacred.
Now, Phil, you've got pet insurance for Oro.
Yes.
Is Oro covered for optical benefits?
Don't worry, I plan to find out.
James, that's very good.
No, I'll make a claim if I can.
I can't believe that you said he's off his food. No wonder, because his belly's full of clocks, sunglasses, glasses.
That's the reason. All right, James, good weekend.
All the best, James. It's very funny, as optical insurance. Sandra, one of our favourites from Ferntree Gully. Hi, Sandra.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
G'day. Good to
well,
talk.
thank you.
Good to talk to you.
I'm just ringing up to say about this extreme weather we've had. I was sitting in my lounge today, and all of a sudden I heard this almighty bang and crash.
Oh.
And we have a beautiful 30-foot jacaranda in the front of our house. Well, we have half of a 30.
Oh, no. Did it damage the home when it came down?
Fortunately, it went onto the road, tore out our cable, our power.
Oh.
And luckily, because no cars parked there, because often our neighbour's son parks his car there. So here's this huge tree down, and, you know, you just go into shock because you...
Yeah.
So I rang the SES.
Yes.
And anyway, they eventually came, and they cut it all up, and the police came and have put, where the lines are down, they've put flags across them so cars can, in bright colours, so any large truck or anything can see it.
That's good. They do a great job, the SES
they
too.
do. They were so helpful. They've put all the cut the tree and the branches and everything on the nature strip. Then I had to ring the the council, and then they came out to have a look at the if it was a risk, and they'll come during the week. But then what's happened is I've got half this tree that's now a danger. So I ring up to get some quotes. I mean, it's such a huge. We're on the pension, and it's such a huge cost to have a tree removed. And this gentleman came out. It's very nice, and he's strapped the tree because it's full of coming down. And he said it would cost $1,000 to take out the rest of this tree. And I said, well, seeing there's only half the tree, can it be $500?
Get a couple of quotes too. I know we've got one of our advertisers here, Taylor's Tree and Stump Removals.
Okay. Yep.
They're I believe they're in Canterbury Road, Taylor's, under Taylor's for Tree and Stump Removals. But
yes.
I get a couple of quotes because that sounds like a lot of money, $1,000 for half a tree.
Half a tree, exactly.
Okay, and then get a quote from my mate Frank Duke, D-U-K-E, okay?
D-U-K-E.
Yeah, Duke, like the Duke of Edinburgh, yeah.
Wonderful, I'll do that. So, yeah, a bit of a shock today it was.
Well, I think, Sandra, the shock is there, but you're lucky that, first of all, no one was injured. It didn't fall into the house, because one of the calls this morning was from, I think, down the Mornington Peninsula way, where a roof had come off a home next door right onto another home and just missed some people who were sleeping. So
could have been worse.
Very bad, the storms.
Now, Sunday night on Remember When, Simon will be back. We're talking to Marie Cootie from the Melbourne shop, and she's written several wonderful books about Melbourne, including children's books as well.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Melbourne style, and they sell souvenirs. But no one knows Melbourne better than Marie, and she's our guest for Remember When Sunday night. And as soon as we can lock you in, you're coming in to talk about your autograph collection.
I will, Phil. What's your favourite part, or I won't say the favourite part, but favourite parts of Melbourne? What do you like?
Exhibition buildings.
Yes.
Flinders Street Station, because I just love standing on platforms watching trains, especially, if a steam train comes by or one of the country trains.
Isn't that funny? You know what I did this afternoon? I thought, a little bit peckish, and we've got a beautiful restaurant downstairs called The Hub.
Yeah.
But they'd closed. They were getting ready for happy hour, so I went across to Southern Cross Station just to buy something to eat. And I haven't actually been there for a while, and I just looked at the country trains. It was very, very busy, and there were the ones that are towed by the diesels, and because a lot of Southern Cross is not your normal metro, it's the country trains.
Yeah.
busy as, people everywhere, escalators full, people walking through.
I know.
And customer service. I saw about 4 customer service bibs on these people because a lot of people are in town for the Grand Prix.
That's right.
But I love looking at the trains.
I even love the Jollymont Railway Yards. I can look down at those trains all day coming. It's like a toy train set.
Do you know what, Dad, for my brother and I, when we were little, we'd have the weekends and we'd either go to Essendon Airport, down to Port Melbourne or Victoria Dockway to see the ships, or to Spencer Street Station, it was called in those days, and we'd stand there, and without fail, the engine drivers in those days, they were the blue and yellow diesels. They'd look down and they'd say, "How are you?" And Dad would go, "Fine, thank you, just got my 2 sons here." They'd say, "Bring them up, let them have a look." And so we ended up on trains, in planes.
That wouldn't happen today because of security. You'd be very lucky to get on board a loco today.
I reckon some of the drivers would just say, "Have a look," not while it's moving, but while it's stationary.
You look honest enough. Hey, we have to take a break. Okay, it's 11:25. We have Alan Pearsall popping by a bit later to promote a worthy cause. That'll be about 11:45 on his way through to midnight to dawn.
A fabulous show, Alan, and we're very blessed with, we thank Tony Moclair and John Oraglasso and the special guest Peter Stubbs, but Alan and Alan's producer Nigel, and we're very lucky too, thanks to Andy Walsh, our producer. He's had a very big afternoon.
Don't praise him, he'll want more money, don't you?
He's
no compliments.
Already got a pay rise, and Nicole authorised that. She said he's very, very good, so well done to him, and well done to Sam Hunter and all the team at Crime Stoppers, Phil. They had their new headquarters launched this week, which I was privileged to go to, and Sal Perner is the chairman and Sam Hunter is the chief executive officer. Every Saturday morning with Darren James, they have the Crime Stoppers update.
Early,
and they have the Crime of the Week, and then the Wanted segment. Darren, he's always looking at the wanted person on his screen, and he has some funny analogies of what they look like. But a great service. So Crime Stoppers, always, if you see something, say something, and the number 1800 333 000. But well done to Sam Hunter with the brand new office for Crime Stoppers.
I think it's a bit hurtful that some of my jokes qualify for the Crime of the Week. Really hurts my feelings. Mary's a born. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hello there.
I'm sorry, I just laugh at Phil. You never know what Phil is going to say. It's funny sitting in the studio with you. I wish all the Nightliners could be here.
Go ahead, Mary.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Just off topic, the reason I'm ringing is my aunt is at your age, Phil, so she's quite young, and she's going into hospital over the weekend to have major heart surgery.
Oh, okay. What's her name?
Her name's Anne, and she loves the program. She listens religiously all day and all night,
wonderful.
And is a big fan of the Nightline, and in fact she's been very sad that Bruce hasn't been on for a while. She's been quite upset, actually.
Of course.
And this is quite a big ordeal for her. And I was talking to her today, and she's sort of, I'm really nervous, and she's quite frightened. And she says, I'm going to listen to Nightline while I'm in hospital, and I hope that Bruce will be back on air while I'm, recovering, because she'll probably be in for a good couple of weeks.
Yes.
But I was hoping you would just, give her a little cheerio.
And I'm sure you'll come through with flying colours. And I know some of the Nightliners will say a prayer for you, knowing that this ordeal is ahead of you. But, it's such common practice these days, major heart surgery. And I'm sure you won't have a worry in the world.
And you know what, Mary? There are great medicos these days because there's so many advances with the cardiologists. We have a lot of them have a chat on AW during the week, but they're quite amazing people. So let's give Anne a little prize that when she's out and recuperating, and then you can take her out and have a lovely time at the Pancake Parlour. Would that be nice?
Wow, that'll be something for her to look forward to. Thank you. I'm sure she's listening right now and
Good.
probably all excited.
All right, Anne, that'll speed your recovery.
And it's a $50 Pancake Parlour voucher, and the Pancake Parlour open 24 hours at High Point, Doncaster and Malvern East. Lovely, and that's something to look forward to, and from all the Nightliners and Phil and David, and we're thinking of you, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, but Anne, go easy on the calories.
If you're
28 to midnight, Nightline, Philip Brady, David Mann, and after midnight, Alan Pearsall, right across Australia. Alan Pearsall and Phil. Alan is always smiling, always happy, and his music knowledge is quite amazing.
Alan, and there's something very close to your heart.
I was going to say about happy. It's amazing what a pill every day can do to sort of brighten up your day. Hello, Philip, and hello, David. David, yes, and Phil, I got an email the other day from the people from Alzheimer's of Victoria. And look, they're doing a fundraiser for Alzheimer's this weekend, today and tomorrow, at the Windsor Hotel up in Spring Street in the city. It's a high tea with a special guest. Ita Buttrose is going to be there as a special guest for the afternoon tea. And there are just a handful of tables still available, a few spots for Alzheimer's Victoria. It's a big fundraiser. It's $99 a person, but it's a very special event. And of course, as you would know, David, you've worked with a lot of charities, and so have you, Philip. There are a few that will be more worthy than the Alzheimer's group. They're doing an amazing job.
And is that tomorrow being Saturday? Saturday at the Windsor in Melbourne.
Saturday and Sunday afternoon. There are two events.
Beautiful. And
Ita Buttrose, who when she was the Australian of the Year, she was a great advocate for raising funds for Alzheimer's groups. Yes. And she did a terrific job as the Australian of the Year.
It affects so many people. It really does. With the ageing population, I guarantee, everybody listening at the moment, there'll be some connection to someone who has Alzheimer's. So very worthy. But the Windsor, the high teas, they are totally over the top. Very, very nice. And it's great that, you'll have a lovely afternoon tea, a great guest speaker. Is Ida going to speak both days?
Yes, she's going to be there both days. That's right. Now, you've got to book online. There's not a phone number to ring. You've got to go to www.thehotelwindsor, not just Hotel Windsor, but thehotelwindsor.com.au/Alzheimer's AUS. So that's www.thehotelwindsor.com.au/Alzheimer's AUS. And all the information is there.
Okay, I'm not being facetious, but a generation ago, I went to school with a boy, a Jewish boy, and his name was actually Alzheimer. Isn't that amazing?
Incredible.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
All those years ago. Yeah. Alzheimer.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's a condition.
And sitting next to him was colonoscopy.
Yeah, sure.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
No.
I know it's hard to believe.
I'm sorry.
No, he was an Irish boy. It was colonoscopy.
I think you've gone just a step too far on that.
I've just been exposed to this on Friday nights. I've known Phil for 43 years, but really, and he's got a friend out at Kew from the Rotary Club. I won't ever say, when he introduced, I know the
George.
Yes, don't say it, Phil. Alan, now the details again. So it's the Windsor, Saturday and Sunday.
Windsor Hotel.
Alzheimer's Australia.
From 2:30 till 4:30 today. Tomorrow and also Sunday. 2:30 till 4, the Windsor Hotel in Spring Street, and www.thehotelwindsor.com.au/Alzheimer's AUS.
Good course. David won't know the bond between Alan and myself, but we used to be 3AK good guys a lifetime ago.
No, you were a good guy, weren't you? I came into the beautiful music era when you sort of came back.
Yes, we were on there together in the 80s, for sure.
Yes, that's right, yeah. Well, we were sort of good guys then.
I used to listen to 3AK when I was at high school, and the good guys, there was Yorkie, there was Alan Lappin, Graham Boyd.
Yes. No, not Alan Lappin, Alan Aiken.
Alan Aiken.
And Graham Boyd from New Zealand, yes.
And
Bruce Mansfield.
And they had a good guys tour one day where you had to come in, and you went into Bendigo Street, got on this bus, and they took us all around Melbourne to different places, and Lionel York hosted it, and then when he went to Perth, he was at 6PR.
Yeah.
6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. Yes, 6 p.m. That's right. And I went over there in the late 60s, early 70s, and I said, I'd just like to have a look at the radio station. He said, no problems. And he gave me his card, and it was called Peppermint Radio. And you could scratch his business card, and it smelled of peppermint.
Oh, how good is that?
But he took me all around the station, and that was one of the things, as well as the late Peter James, that headed me into radio.
Okay, let me tell you something nice. I had a phone call yesterday saying, give my best to Bruce, all the way from Yorkie in Perth.
Oh, isn't that fantastic?
That's the sort of guy he is.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Alan, look forward to your show after midnight, as always.
Thank you, David.
And
Good to
I'll
see you,
be
Alan.
tuned in till after 3, then I sort of have to give you away, because I'm at my age, I need some beauty sleep.
Oh, no.
OMG, as we say in the case. I love your loyalty.
No, you know what would be happening after 3? Oro the dog would be eating some other part of the Brady mansion.
See you later, Jack.
20 minutes to midnight, Nightline 3AW 693, Philip Brady, David Mann, and from all the team at AW, one of our clients was married today at 4:30, but he cut it very fine. Paul Wheelton married Angela Young. And why I say he cut it very fine, nothing to do with the ceremony, but he was in hospital for the last 4 days. Came out at 9 o'clock this morning, got married this afternoon. So to Paul Wheelton and Angela Young and the family who celebrated their wedding earlier on today, congratulations, lots of luck, health and happiness. Oh, yes, there's the 3RW Cheer Squad to both of you. Wonderful people.
All right, and Barry's in Montoni. Hi, Barry.
Hey, Philip. Oh, good evening, Philip and David.
Hello.
Hello, Barry.
Bruce. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for calling.
And young Andy. I've run this poem past you before. I've added a couple of lines, and I'd just like to remind you what a mangonel is.
You tell us.
Well, it's a siege engine, military engine. The Greeks had manganons, the Romans had mangonels, and they were like a catapult that threw stones.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So that's crucial to following this, making sense of this poem.
Yes.
Okay.
Over to you, Barry. Barry from Watsonia with the poem.
Thank you. The birds were really going berserk in the backyard about a fortnight ago. So this is what I've written. A flock of Indian miners, their flight all a panic. There is fear in their cry. As to the fates, the flock are scattered all awry. There must be eagles in the sky. A dove's flight, straight pell-mell, like a whip-shot missile from a mangonel. There must be eagles in the sky. There's a very sharp awareness to the magpie's sight. There is drama and urgency in his flight. As the magpie's wings cleave the air, his flight communicates to all, beware, beware. There must be eagles up there somewhere. Eagles sometimes fly so high, they are lost to the sight of the sharpest eye, hidden in the grand expanses of the sky. And very glad in heart am I when eagles prowl about the sky. And here's a thing that's good to know, where eagles gather, God is there also. And then from the deep vault of the sky came the haunting song of the eagle's cry.
Sound effects. Good on you, Barry. And Barry, you've mentioned one of my favourite animals on earth. In fact, the bird, the eagle. I have an eagle at home, and it's one of my favourite animals. They're very focused, very sharp, and very, very intelligent animals, eagles.
They're amazing. A couple of nights later, they put a special on and showed the golden eagle in Scotland.
Oh, I would love to have seen that.
And it's really weird because a night or so after that, I had this dream that it was like this huge cloud in the sky. It was very dark sky. The sun was going down. It was very cloudy and almost dark. And this huge flock, this big ball of black mass came towards me, and it was over my head in seconds. And there would have been, in this dream, there were 500 or 600
eagles.
Wow.
Thank you, Barry. And Barry, I must comment too that when I walked in tonight, Tony Moclair had a few people in the booth outside the studio, and one of the gentlemen said, I really like that poem that was read about Tony last week. And so we've got some great poets.
Look at my watch with the American seal on it, the presidential seal of the eagle.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, Kyra's in Gippsland. Hello, Kyra.
Hello, Phil. Hello, David. How are you?
Hi, Kyra. I'm looking at Phil's watch here, and he's handed over to me. It's got the American eagle in the centrepiece, and the good thing is it hasn't been chewed up by Oro.
No, well, not yet, because it's on my wrist. Now, what's news, Kyra?
Yeah, I'm in Melbourne, Phil. I'm at home at the moment, not in Gippsland.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Seaford.
Good.
Yeah, Phil, your dog Oreo must be a little terror, is he?
Oh, well, he's a golden retriever. They fetch everything, and they like to devour what they find, yeah.
Did he snap the wings off your glasses, did he, Phil?
More than he's chewed up my glasses, but that's all right. I'm using a magnifying glass tonight.
Yeah. It's good to
hear how Bruce is going, Phil.
Yeah, I was very pleased with him today.
Yeah, Phil, I've got a bit of bad news. Unfortunately, I haven't rang you for a couple of weeks. My daughter Nicola, that's got my grandchildren twins, unfortunately, she found out just recently, probably a couple of weeks ago, that now she has got cancer.
Oh, gee, that seems to run in the family. I'm really sorry to hear that, Cara.
Yeah,
hope she'll be all right. You know, it's a word these days, not a sentence. You know that.
Oh, well, she's only 28, Phil, you know. Well,
Yeah.
no, 29, you know.
All right, we'll be thinking of her, Cara, but it's very depressing, and of course we wish her well, and you as well.
Always say, Phil, if you've got your health, it's the most important thing in life. So thinking of the family there, Cara. And thanks to Jeff, who's on a mobile for holding on for so long. A lot of calls banked up. Hi, Jeff.
Oh, hi there, David, and hello, Phil.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
Oh, just when David was talking and saying that when they were younger kids, they used to go out to Essendon Airport, and immediately I flashed back to, we used to go there too, and I've got fond memories of you'd go out on that concrete sort of veranda, you know, out in the wind, and
yes,
and remember those sort of binoculars, I'll call them, that you were on the stand, and you could, I think you put a sixpence in.
Yes, that's right.
And you're able to look up closely and see if you could see somebody in the window of the plane, sort of thing. But
and most of the planes in those days were all the propellers.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And as Phil was saying too, that security wasn't what it was today.
If you're talking about the old Essendon Airport, that observation deck was above a bar called the Cockpit.
And didn't people used to go there, Phil, because you could get drinks there on a Sunday?
Yeah, you could. They had an extra late license, Jeff. You could. And I have friends today who are very successful business people. They still go to Tullamarine every weekend, camp at the end of the runway, and take photos and watch the jets roar above them.
The plane spotters, they love it.
Yeah.
That's near that Legends farm where they have all the racehorses. But the bit that we used to love was going to Essendon, and it was only the fence between you and the plane. But one of the highlights was one of my uncles was the captain of one of the first BOAC planes that flew in, one of the brand new jets. He brought it in, and because we were family, we were escorted out with all the media onto the plane.
Probably wiggled his wings when he was landing for you.
I think I was about 7.
It'd freak the horses out, wouldn't it?
A few lines called The Noble Dog. The town was Warrensburg, Missouri, the year 1870. A dog owner was suing another townsman who had shot his dog and was asking $50 in damages. The court sat hushed as lawyer George Graham Vest, representing the dog owner, made his final plea. When he'd finished, the jury returned within minutes, and its verdict: the reward, not $50, but $500. This was Senator Vest's tribute to man's best friend. The best friend that a man can have in the world may turn against him and become his enemy. The son or daughter he has reared with loving care may prove ungrateful. Those who are nearest and dearest, those whom we trust with our happiness and our good name, may become traitors to their faith. The money that a man has, he may lose. It flies away from him perhaps when he needs it most. A man's reputation may be sacrificed in a moment of ill-considered action. The people who are prone to fall upon their knees to do us honor when we succeed may be the first to throw the stone of malice when failure settles its clouds upon our heads. The one absolute unselfish friend that a man can have in this selfish world, the one who never deserts him, the one who never proves ungrateful or treacherous, is his dog. A man's dog stands by him in prosperity and poverty, in health and in sickness. He will sleep on the cold ground where the wintry winds blow and the snow drives fiercely, if only to be near his master's side. He will kiss the hand that has no food to offer. He will lick the wounds and sores that come from encounters with the roughness of this world. He guards the sleep of his pauper master as if he were a prince. When all other friends desert, he remains. When riches take wings and reputation fall to pieces, he is consistent in his love as the sun on its journey through the heavens. If fortune drives the master forth as an outcast in the world, friendless and homeless, the faithful dog will go with him. And when the last scene of all comes, no matter if all other friends pursue their way, there will be the noble dog found, his head between his paws, his eyes sad but open in alert watchfulness, faithful and true, even in death.
Copyright restricts distribution of this piece by any means of duplication.
This is for you, Anne, about to undergo major heart surgery. You'll come through with flying colour.
Oh, Midnight the Stars and you, very much a part of Nightline. And Phil, it's been a busy evening. Thank you to Gary McQuaid in the newsroom, Andy Walsh, our producer, and of course a busy time coming up, the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show, the Australian Grand Prix, Rolex Formula One, and I'll be at Supreme Caravans in the morning.
And I will here, and thanks to our special guest, Alan Pearsall, who made a cameo appearance. Queenie, we haven't heard from you in ages. We're worried about you. Give us a call Sunday night and assure us all as well. Thanks, Andy, for your help. Andy Walsh, AW on AW, and MIEOY, David.
And that is standing for Make It Easy on Yourself.
Yeah, a song written by Burt Bacharach. And when I met him in the party at Warner Brothers in 1972, he was very flattered to know that I'd captured the phrase from his song as my sign-off.
And I'm interviewing somebody during the week. I can't tell you about it because it's a private function, but next Saturday evening, ask me the superstar that I spoke to during this coming week.
Will the private function be at Raheem?
No.
Okay.
I'll keep it a secret.
Talk to you on Good Friday, David.
Looking forward to it. 6 to midnight from the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre.
For the sick, the sad, the lonely, the grieving, you're always in our heart. You're always in our prayers.